So we're at chapter 60, Children of Blood and Bone, and we're in Amari's perspective. I giggle like I haven't in years as Dazane spins me round and round. He bends to lift me again but stops, leaving me on the ground. The smile that stretched from ear to ear drops alongside his sweat. I follow his line of sight just in time to see Enon grab Zelly's face, embracing her with a kiss. Skies. A gasp slips from my lips. I sense that something kindled between them. I just didn't know it'd ignite so soon. But observing the way Enon kisses Zelly now, more questions brew. The tender way he holds her, the way his hands roam, pulling her into him. My cheeks flush and I turn away. An embrace like this is far too intimate to watch. But Dazane does not share my discomfort. If anything, he stares more. Every muscle in his body tenses. His eyes grow hard, all joy banished. Dazane? He brushes past me, steeled to attack with a fury I've yet to witness. Dazane! He moves like he can't see me, like he will not stop until his hands wrap around my brother's throat. Then Zelly grabs Enon and pulls his lips to hers. The sight halts Dazane mid-step. He stumbles back as if physically struck. Then all of a sudden he snaps, breaking in half like a twig between clenched fists. He stalks past me into the diviner crowd, pushing through the festival into the campgrounds. I struggle to keep pace with his sprint as he rushes into his tent. He bypasses Nayla and Zelly's pack to grip the handle of his axe. Dazane, no! My scream falls on deaf ears as he shoves the axe into his pack. Along with his cloak, his food, the rest of his belongings? What are you doing? Dazane ignores me, forcing his cloak down as if that too kissed his sister. I reach out to touch him, but he rips his shoulder away. Dazane. What? He yells and I flinch. He pauses, releasing a deep sigh. Sorry, I can't do this. I'm done. What do you mean, done? Dazane wraps the leather straps around his back and pulls them tight. I'm leaving. You can come with me if you want. Wait, what? Dazane doesn't pause to give me an answer. Before I can say anything else, he blows through the tent flaps, abandoning me for the brisk night. Dazane! I scramble after him, but he makes no attempts to wait. He storms past the campgrounds, leaving all traces of the festival in his wake. I can hear the faint roar of the Gombe River as he flies through the wild grass. He gets all the way to the next valley before I finally catch up. Dazane, please! He pauses, but his legs tense like he could take off at any moment. Can you just slow down? I plead. Just breathe. I know you hate Enon, but I don't give a damn about Enon. Everyone can do whatever the hell they want. Just leave me out of it. My chest freezes at the cruelty of his words, shattering all the warmth he put there before. Though my legs shake, I force them forward. You're upset, I understand, but... Upset? Dazane narrows his eyes. Amari, I'm tired of fighting for my life. I'm tired of paying for everyone's mistakes. I'm sick of doing everything I can to keep her safe when all she does is throw it away. He lowers his head, shoulders slumping. For the first time since I've met him, he appears small. It's disconcerting to see him this way. I keep expecting her to grow up. But why would she when I'm always here? Why change when I stand by just waiting to clean up her mess? I step closer and grab his hands, lacing my fingers between his coarse ones. I know their relationship is confusing, but I promise you, deep down my brother's intentions are pure. Zelly hated Enon more than anyone. If she feels this way about him now, it has to mean something. It means what it always does. Dazane slides out of my grasp. Zelly's doing something stupid, and sooner or later it's going to blow up in her face. Wait for the explosion if you want, but I'm done. His voice breaks. I never wanted to be a part of this anyway. Zane walks away again, cleaving something inside me. This is not the man I know. A man I've started to love? The word floats in my mind, but I can't call it that. Love is too strong, too intense for what I feel, for what I'm allowed to feel. But even still, you never give up on her, I shout after him. Never, not once. Even when she costs you everything, you're always by her side. Like Benta. My friend's playful smirk appears in my mind, lighting up the cold night. Tizane loves fiercely as she did, without condition, even when he shouldn't. Why now? I continue. After everything, why this? Because he destroyed our home. Tizane whips around. A vein bulges against his neck as he screams. People drowned. Children died. And for what? The monster's been trying to kill us for weeks. Now she wants to forgive him? Embrace him? His voice strains and Tizane pauses, slowly clenching and unclenching his fists. I can protect her from a lot of things. But if she's going to be this stupid, this reckless, she's going to get herself killed. I'm not sticking around to watch. With that, he turns, tightening his pack and walking farther into the darkness. Wait! I call, but this time Tizane does not slow. Each step he takes causes my heart to pound harder against my chest. He's really doing this. He's really leaving. Tizane, please. A horn sounds, cutting through the night. We freeze as more join in, silencing the drums of the festival. I turn and my heart drops as the royal seal that has always haunted me comes into my view, gleaming off suit after suit. The eyes of the snow leopards seem to flash in the darkness. Father's men are here. Da-na-na-na. Okay. So take your moment to pause with chapter 60 in your summary here. And we get a lot more into Enan's thought process, everything he's gone through, who Amari thinks he is, who he thinks he is, and how he's dealing with all these emotions. So what are we learning more about with Tizane here? And chapter 61, Zelly's perspective. I inhale sharply as Enan's hand slides down to my thighs. His touch makes every part of my body explode. It's too hard to concentrate on kissing him back, but as my lips forget what to do, Enan's don't miss a beat. His electric kisses move from my mouth to my neck, so intense it's hard to breathe. Enan. My face flushes, but there's no point in hiding it. He knows what his kiss does to me, how his touch burns. If my emotions hit him like a tsunami, then he must know how much I want this. How my body aches to let his hands search and wander. Enan presses his forehead against mine and slides his hand to the small of my back. Believe me, Zell. What I do to you is nothing compared to what you do to me. My heart flutters and I close my eyes as Enan draws me in. He leans down for another kiss. A loud horn blares. A crash rings through the air. What was that? I ask. We jolt apart as another crash sounds. Enan's grip on me tightens, a cold sweat breaking out. We need to go. What's going on? Zell, come on. I break free of his hold and run toward the edge of the festival grounds. The music of the celebration halts as everyone tries to figure out the cause of the sound. A hushed hysteria erupts through the crowd, questions mounting as it spreads, but with time, the source of the horns makes itself clear. The legion of royal guards charges through the new wreckage of the gate and marches to the top of the hill, overlooking the valley. They light up the black sky with red torch flames blazing against the night. Some soldiers position their arrows, others bear their sharpened blades. The most terrifying among them hold back a pack of wild panthers. The menacing beasts chomp and foam at their bits, desperate for a chase. Enan catches up to me. He stalls when he sees the sight. The color drains from his cheeks. His fingers lace through mine. The commander of the troops steps forward, distinguished by the golden lines carved into the iron of his armor. He raises a cone to his mouth so we can all hear his shouts. This is your only warning. His voice booms through the silence. If you do not comply, we will use force. Give up the scroll and the girl, and no one here will get hurt. The diviners break out in whispered conversations, fear and confusion spreading throughout the masses like a virus. Some people try to escape the crowd. A child begins to cry. Zell, we have to go. Enon repeats, gripping my arm once more. But I can't feel my legs. I can't even speak. I will not warn you again, the commander shouts. Give them up or we will take them by force. For a moment, nothing happens. Then a ripple breaks through the crowd. Though the movement starts out small, in seconds, waves of people split. They clear a path, allowing one person to walk through. Her small body steps forward. Her white mane dances. Zoo! I breathe, fighting the urge to run and pull her back into the crowd. She stands tall and strong, defiant beyond her young years. Her emerald green caftan blows in the wind, shimmering against her brown skin. Though she is only 13, the entire legion readies their arms. Archers pull back against their arrows. Swordsmen position the reins of their panthanaires. I don't know which girl you speak of, Zeus shouts, her voice carried by the wind. But I can assure you we don't have the scroll. This is a peaceful celebration. We only gathered here to honor our heritage. The silence that follows is almost deafening. It brings a tremble to my hands. I can't fight back. Please, Zeus steps forward. Don't move, the commander shouts back, pulling out his sword. Search us if you must, Zeus responds. We will agree to an examination, but please lower your weapons. She raises her hands in surrender. I don't want anyone to get hurt. It happened so fast. Too fast. One moment Zeus stands, the next, an arrow pierces through her gut. Zeus! I scream. But it doesn't sound like me. I can't hear my voice. I can't feel anything. Air dies inside my chest as Zeus looks down, small hands gripping the arrow's shaft. The young girl with a smile too wide for her face pulls against the weapon, speared with Orisha's hate. She strains, limbs shaking, somehow taking a step forward, not back where we can protect her. Forward so she can protect us. No. Tears sear my vision, falling fast down my face. A healer, a child. Yet her last moments are stained with hate. Blood spreads across the silk of her caftan. The emerald darkens with red. Her legs buckle and she hits the ground. Zeus! I race forward even though I know she can't be saved. In that moment, the entire world explodes. Arrows fly and swords flash as the guards unleash their attack. Zell, come on! Enon yanks on my arm, pulling me back. But as he tries to steer me away, one thought fills my mind. Oh, gods. Tizane. Before Enon can object, I take off, stumbling more than once as I return to the valley. Screams of terror fill the night. Diviners run in all directions. We sprint in vain, trying desperately to escape the archers striking from the sky. One by one, diviners go down, pierced by an onslaught of arrows that never seems to end. But the archers become a fear of the past as the suited seal of Orisha spreads through the masses. Soldiers release the rabid panthanaires, allowing the riders to sink their fangs straight through diviner flesh. Above them, armored guards push through the crowd, the sword raised and sharpened. They show no mercy, no discretion, slashing through everyone in their path. Tizane! I scream, another voice in the chorus of shouts. He can't die like Mama. He can't leave me and Baba. But the farther I run, the more bodies fall to the ground. The more spirits bleed into the earth, lost in the crowd. Salim howls, sharp screams rising above every other cry. Salim! I scream, charging for the sweet boy I spun in my arms. A guard rides toward him on a rabid panthanaire. Salim raises his hands in surrender. He has no magic, no weapon, no way to fight. The guard doesn't care. His sword slashes down. No! I scream, insides aching at the sight. The blade rips straight through Salim's small body. He dies before he even hits the ground. His dead eyes chill my blood, my heart, my bones. We cannot win. We cannot live. We never stood a chance. The sensation strikes me in my core, deep, as powerful as my beating heart. It rattles the magic in my blood. It pulls the air from my lungs. Kwame rushes past me, running for the heart of the battle. He grips a dagger tight in his hands. Then he slashes open his palm. Blood magic. Horror settles into my bones. It's like the world slows to a stop, stretching the seconds between this moment and the last Kwame will ever have. His blood glows with a white light, splashing as it hits the ground. In an instant, the ivory light surrounds him, illuminating his dark skin like a god from above. When it reaches the top of his head, it seals his fate. A fire explodes from his skin. Smoldering embers rain from his body. Flames blazed around his form. The fire erupts from every limb, shooting out of his mouth, his arms, his legs. The blast towers meters into the sky. A blaze so powerful it lights the horrors of the night. Shock stops the guard's attack just as Kwame begins. He punches his fist forward. Streams of fire crash through the settlement in smoldering waves. The flames incinerate everything in their path, blazing through the guards, destroying the camp. The stench of burning flesh fills the air, mixed with the scent of blood. Death strikes so quickly, soldiers don't even have a chance to scream. Ah! Kwame's cries of agony rise above all else as he turns the night red. The blood magic tears through him, raw and unforgiving. It's grander than any flame a magi could conjure on his own. He burns with the power of his god, but it burns through him. His dark face flushes red, veins tearing from within. His skin bubbles and scalds from his flesh, revealing corded muscle and hard bone. He can't contain it. He can't outlast it. The blood magic eats him alive, yet he still uses his last breath to fight. Kwame! Folaki screams from the edge of the valley. A strong diviner drags her back, keeping her from charging into the roaring fire. A vortex of flames shoots from Kwame's throat, pushing the guards even farther back. As he sears through their attack with the last seconds of his life, the diviners react. My people flee in all directions, escaping through the flaming walls, leaving the wasteland in their path. They live, fleeing the guards' senseless attack. Because of Kwame, because of his magic, they survive. Staring at the blaze, it's as if the entire world stops. The shouts and screams are muffled into nothingness. The festival fades to black. Enan's promises play out before my eyes. Our Orisha, a pact that the world won't allow him to keep. Peace. We will never have peace. As long as we don't have magic, they will never treat us with respect. Baba's words simmer through my mind. They need to know we can hit them back. If they burn our homes, we burn theirs too. With one final cry, Kwame erupts like a dying star. Fire explodes in all directions, leaving the earth with the last remnants of himself. As the final embers fall, my heart rips in my chest. I can't believe I ever denied Baba's truth. They'll never allow us to thrive. We will always be afraid. Our only hope is to fight. Fight and win. And to win, we need our magic. I need that scroll. Zelly! My head snaps up. I don't know how long I've stayed still. The world seems to travel in slow motion. Weighed down by Kwame's sacrifice, dragging with all my pain and guilt. Dezane and Amari approach from the distance, riding on Nayla's back. Dezane guides Nayla toward me through the chaos. Amari clutches my pack to her chest. But as my name travels from his mouth, other guards take note. The girl, they scream to one another. The girl, it's her. Before I take another step, hands wrap around my arms, my chest, my throat. Okay, so we just finished chapter 61. Lots has happened. So, we had 2 really significant deaths in this chapter. So, Zu has died and Kwame has died as well. So, what was the purpose of their death? What are we supposed to take away? What kind of theme does this help develop? And especially with what Zu originally symbolized for us, what does this tell us about her and about where we're going with our quest? What kind of predictions can we make and what can we expect from it? So take a moment for your notes and then continue to chapter 62.